morning. Several times on this committee, I've talked about the concerns that I hear from small businesses in Tennessee, and a lot of times this has to do with being wrongfully targeted by the IRS, and we've discussed many times the importance of ensuring the IRS follow the 22 directive to stop any increase in the audit rates for taxpayers with annual incomes of less than $400,000. And, you know, as we have gone past this and gone past that directive, I've had growing concerns about this, and there's been such a lack of clarity around it. And in August, the acting Treasury Inspector General confirmed that the Biden-Harris IRS has failed to develop a plan to prevent elevated audit rates against small businesses. Many of these file as pass-through entities, and so they get bumped up. And the administration had pledged that they were going to take care of this, and they have not. So without having that report, we wouldn't have known the extent of what is happening to these small businesses that have that gross of $400,000. And so if you're confirmed, will you commit to further reviewing these IRS audit processes to ensure compliance with that 2022 directive and the protections that need to be there for these small businesses that all of a sudden find themselves as the target of the IRS?
Well, thank you for the question. I certainly appreciate that this is something that is very important to you and your constituents. I believe that, I'm obviously not at TIGTA now, and one of the first things I need to do when I get there is assess the projects, past, current, and pending, to understand priorities. But given that TIGTA has already issued a report on this very issue, it would seem appropriate for follow-up. And so what I certainly will commit to is being briefed fully by TIGTA and doing my own assessment, and then reaching out to your staff and you to make sure that your concerns are being appropriately addressed.
Well, it's the concern of the taxpayer.
Yes.
Who has seen an increased audit rate and find that they are being trapped in this. So yes, it needs to be done. I want to talk to you about direct file, because this is a program that got put in place. It didn't have congressional approval. It's costing about $250 million a year. And I think it's something that is diverting funds that are needed to modernize the IRS and to use technology. And when you look at the reviews on this, the IRS has not been transparent about key aspects of this program. They've not come forward on what really are the true costs, what is the actual acceptance rates, what are the fraud risks that are involved with this. So I'd like for you to talk about how your oversight experience might help you work with Congress to ensure that lawmakers do have an accurate assessment of this program and whether or not it should be continued.
Thank you again for that question. I wholeheartedly agree that one of the core missions of any Inspector General is to ensure that Congress has the information it needs to make its policy decisions. And I do believe on any issue of concern that TIGTA will be looking at issues to make sure that accurate information is being provided, including indirect file.
Well, I think that as we talk with constituents in Tennessee, when you look at the failures of the direct file project, and it almost appears to have been haphazardly put in place, and there needs to be a serious review of this before it becomes one of these things that is, well, we're doing it this way because we've always done it this way, and we don't want that to happen. and the audit practices at the IRS, this is something that needs a solid review, and we would appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank my colleague, and I would only say, as a very strong supporter of direct file, which essentially began almost in the seat that you occupy. When Dan Coates joined me in a bipartisan effort, we will have that debate. I don't believe we're going to have time today for a big debate on it, but I look forward to talking to all my colleagues, and just wanted to make the historical reference of Dan Coates and making this bipartisan. Look forward to a bigger conversation on it.